This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Ramsey personality George Camel is my co-host today on a special eve of Thanksgiving Eve show, which means that we have different rules today. We are really sure that gratitude is an indication of your future prosperity. People who are ungrateful, entitled, arrogant little twits tend to not prosper. They tend to be selfish, self-centered, and people who are grateful, who are kind, who are thinking of others, they have a tendency to prosper because the grateful people tend to be the content people. They tend to be the people who think of others, as I said. They tend to be generous. Their faces reflect it. They're different people.
You make decisions differently when you have a spirit of gratitude. That's what it comes down to. And if you're discontent, you're going to make decisions out of that discontentment.
So we're people that believe that corny stuff to be true. Pretty much straight up cornballs, and proud of it. Part of our brand. Sarcastic cornballs.
That's a good way to put
it. Yeah, that's us. So, but we're that. And so if you call in today to be on the air, you have to pay to be on the air today. And your ticket price is you have to tell us what you're grateful for, because you have, by God, ought to be grateful for something.
If you can't think of something, you maybe not, don't call into the show.
You shouldn't call today, because we're going to be cornballs. We want to know gratitude. So we did this with our team this morning, but there was a lady prior to the Civil War named Sarah Hale. Sarah was an editor of a huge magazine, 150,000 subscribers, which in those days was a lot of people, high percentage of the population. And she'd written a bunch of famous things. She wrote the nursery rhyme, Mary Had a Little Lamb.
A classic.
Classic, yeah. And so Sarah was quite a famous person in her day. And she had written to the President of the United States 30 consecutive years.
Wow. With
one request, requesting that he set aside a national day of Thanksgiving where we stop and give thanks to the Lord. Finally, at 74 years old, in September 28th of 1863, she wrote another letter to then sitting President Abraham Lincoln, who got with his Secretary of State, William Seward, who was a known wordsmith, fabulous writer, brilliant man, and had him write the proclamation that became Thanksgiving Day. October 3rd, 1863, a proclamation of the President of the United States. The year that is drawing towards its close has been filled with the blessings of fruitful fields and healthful skies. To these bounties which are so constantly enjoyed that we are prone to forget the source from which they come, others have been added, which are of so extraordinary a nature that they cannot fail to penetrate and soften even the heart which is habitually insensitive to the ever-watchful providence of Almighty God. In the midst of a civil war of unequaled magnitude and severity, which has sometimes seemed to foreign states to invite and to provoke their aggression, peace has been preserved with all nations, order has been maintained, the laws have been respected and obeyed, and harmony has prevailed everywhere except in the theater of military conflict, while that theater has been greatly contracted by the advancing armies and navies of the Union. Needful diversions of wealth and of strength from the fields of peaceful industry to the national defense have not arrested the plow, the shuttle, or the ship. The axe has enlarged the borders of our settlements, and the mines as well of iron and coal as of the precious metals have yielded even more abundantly than heretofore. Population has steadily increased, notwithstanding the waste that has been made in the camp, the siege, and the battlefield. And the country, rejoicing in the consciousness of augmented strength and vigor, is permitted to expect continuance of years with large increase of freedom. No human counsel hath devised, nor hath any mortal hand worked out these great things. They are the gracious gifts of the Most High God, who, while dealing with us in anger for our sins, hath nevertheless remembered mercy. It has seemed fit to me and proper that they should be solemnly, reverently, and gratefully acknowledged as with one heart and one voice by the whole American people. I do therefore invite my fellow citizens in every part of the United States, and also those who are at sea and those who are sojourning in foreign lands, to set apart and observe the last Thursday of November next as a day of thanksgiving and praise to our beneficent Father who dwelleth in the heavens. And I recommend to them that while offering up ascriptions justly due to him for such singular deliverances and blessings, they also, with humble penitence for our national perverseness and disobedience, commend to his tender care all those who have become widows, orphans, mourners, or sufferers in the lamentable strife in which we are unavoidably engaged, and fervently implore the interposition of the almighty hand to heal the wounds of the nation, and to restore it as soon as may be consistent with the divine purposes, to the full enjoyment of peace, harmony, tranquility, and union. In testimony whereof I have hereto set my hand and caused the seal of the United States to be affixed, done at the city of Washington this 3rd day of October in the year of our Lord, 1863. President Abraham Lincoln William Seward, Secretary of State. Been a long time since we had a president of the United States say so blatantly, boldly, and up front that it is God from where our blessings flow.
Been too long.
And, I mean, I may have missed it, but I don't think I did. All of the garbage and the infighting and the politicized garbage and toxicity that's out there now. Don't we need leaders like this now? Man, either party would be happy with either party if they'd stand up and do that right there.
And said it like that, and eloquently. Well,
I mean, yeah, no one speaks like that anymore, but it's just beautiful prose. But the idea, I mean, that we, let me just tell you, if you were confused, that is the actual proclamation I just read from the United States President, that the purpose of Thanksgiving Day is to say thank you to the Lord for his blessings. You may not like that. You may not have done that if it was you, but that is what's known as a fact. And facts are interesting things to have knowledge of. That has actually occurred. That is the genesis of this holiday. It's not something else. It wasn't invented as the day before Black Friday. It was invented when we stop and say, thank you, Lord, because you blessed us beyond our wildest imaginations. It's a Thanksgiving Eve show here on The Ramsey Show. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. Thanks for joining us.
If you're ready to get out there and find a job you love, then you need to hear this. Job hunting can be stressful and time-consuming, but my friends at ZipRecruiter have made the whole job search way easier. ZipRecruiter is rated the #1 job site in the U.S. by G2, and it's free. So how does it work? First, go to ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Then create a free profile and let their technology do the hard work by finding and sending you jobs that are a great fit. And get this, ZipRecruiter pitches your profile to companies whose jobs match your skills and experience. If someone from that company likes your profile, they can personally invite you to apply for the job. So if you're ready for an easier job search, check out ZipRecruiter. Sign up for free right now at ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Sign up today, absolutely free, and let ZipRecruiter work for you.
George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Host of the Fine Print, the final episode for Season 1. There's been 10 episodes total on Ramsey Networks, has dropped. It's all about the Robinhood app. I listened to the rest of it this morning. Very, very interesting. Very well done, George.
Thanks for listening.
Good to have you.
It was a fun episode to do. I learned a lot just doing these episodes.
Yeah.
'Cause you do a lot of digging.
Yeah, it's the detail is pretty incredible. So, as you call in today, what are you thankful for? Brian in Salt Lake City, what are you thankful for?
I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. Hey, Dave. I am thankful that God sent his only son, Jesus Christ, to die for me and everybody else who believes in him, that we may have eternal life.
Very well done. Okay. How can we help today?
I am calling because I want to know how long it is okay to not put money towards retirement to save for a down payment. In my case, I'm projecting it would take me 3 years to save for a house down payment if I don't put anything in retirement, and 7 years if I do put the 15% towards the Roth retirement options.
Yeah, 3 years is about as far as I like to go, George.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. 2 to 3 years if you're going gazelle intense saving up for that down payment. Any longer than that, and I would start to look at maybe a mix of those two things so that you're not losing out on that investing for too long of a time.
Yeah, if you told me 4 years, I'd probably tell you to do something towards retirement and make it 5 years. But in this case, you can just roll up your sleeves and knock it out in 3. Hey, that's what I would do. I would have at it. Good job, man. Good job. Paul is in Sacramento, California. Paul, what are you thankful for?
Well, I am thankful for growing up in a Christian family.
Cool.
So that, I wouldn't get smacked around in life without having God by my side.
Amen. Cool. How can we help today?
So I've got a question for you about real estate or becoming a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry, I'm a little nervous.
That's okay.
So you endorse your realtors, and I know your ads always say, like, don't go for a newbie and all that, which I completely agree with. And I want to know the steps to become a realtor and one day be endorsed.
Okay. All right. So you're not a real estate agent today?
No, I'm working on it at the moment.
Okay. Good. Good. How old are you?
I'm 19.
Okay. Cool. Well, I got my license when I was 18 years old in 1978, and I sold real estate while I was in college, which was a bit of a stretch. It was hard. Interest rates were very high, and I was very young and very stupid, and it was very difficult. But I sold some houses and made more money than I would have made flopping whoppers, So it was good experience in that regard. So what is your plan to enter that difficult market at your age? What's your thinking on that?
I really don't know. That's why I'm calling.
Okay.
What's driving you to want to be a realtor?
Well, I've pretty much been around real estate my whole life. My parents weren't realtors, but they bought and sold houses all the time. And I've just been around it my whole life. I love it.
So you may already have a little bit of knowledge, which is great. And once you get your license and you start, you sell the first house, obviously it's going to take some time to get that experience. But you start to do that and you start to create some of that word of mouth referrals, and you maybe get in with a firm. And Dave, you can speak to this from your extensive real estate background. But as a young guy getting started, how do you get to the point where you have that trust and credibility?
When I was starting, Paul, there weren't people doing like they do today. It was pretty much just Lone Ranger. Everybody was. Today, there are some of the top performing real estate agents, for instance, some of our ELPs, they have a team of real estate agents. You may have a key person that's out front, and they may have a buyer's agent, a couple of listing agents, and a couple of people who just work for them that are licensed, that show houses and do other things to keep things moving. And this may be a person that sells 300 houses a year, and they may have a 3 or 4 person team. That stuff wasn't around when I was doing it at your age. And if I was going to tell somebody what to do, I would tell you to join a team like that. come in almost as an intern into a team of high performers and go in there and work for someone rather than out there on your own in the cold, so to speak, and you'll learn what the rhythm is of somebody who's a high producer, of a team that's really high octane, versus trying to gut it out and get enough dirt under your fingernails to figure it all out. You can gut your way through it eventually, grind your way through it, but I think the shortest path, the easiest path would be to, if you can play toss with Peyton Manning, it's better than just going out in the backyard and throwing the ball up in the air and catching it yourself. That's kind of the way it feels. So get in there and with a group that is running at a very high clip, and that'll teach you to run at that speed. It'll teach you to throw a ball with that speed, catch a ball with that speed, get the deal done, and the way their minds think, the way their spirits operate, because it's different when you're a high performer like that. Because the vast majority of real estate agents don't sell 3 houses a year. The vast majority. I forget the number, but it's like 70-80% of them.
Wow.
And so most people with real estate licenses really don't make a living in the real estate business. So there's very few that do. And that's why we always tell people to deal only with a high octane, high protein, high producer. But I think it's you've got the problem. It can be overcome, but you've got the legitimate barrier of getting someone to trust a 19-year-old's opinion about their $300,000 or $400,000 purchase. That's just tough. That's a hard one. Can it be done? Yeah, I did it. It wasn't $300,000 or $400,000 back then. That be a lot less, but obviously a lot of inflation in the last 40 years. But anyway, bottom line is that's what I would do. Good question. Thank you for joining us. Stephanie is in Salem, Oregon. Stephanie, what are you thankful for?
Hi, Dave. Hi, George. I'm super grateful for my family. We're going to be having our first Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow. Is like a big family in the last couple of years due to COVID. So I'm super grateful for
that's a lot of people getting back to the turkey after COVID. That's good.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah,
very good.
For sure.
How can we help today?
So I have a burning question for you. So my husband and I are in baby steps 4 through 6, debt-free, got our emergency fund. Now it's time to get on the 15%, and I'm a little bit confused. I literally have been binge listening to you for the last 20 months. I'm still teleworking from home, and I have not heard this question answered. So we need to do the 15%. I work for the state, and so they automatically take 6% out and invest it into a plan. But I still need to take my additional 9%. Yeah, 9%. And then my husband, we also need to do his 15%. So my question is, with the state, you get offered a 457, and you can do that into a Roth, and the maximum is $19,500 a year that I can put into that. For my husband, he does not have a 401k through his work, so we've been doing a Roth for him. But do I take the additional, once he maxes out his Roth, do I take his additional amount and put it into my 457 plan, or does he open up his own individual retirement brokerage account for his remaining amount? That's where I'm a little bit
okay. There's not a his and hers. It's 15% of your household income, and
okay,
that number we've got to run through the paradigm of what to put it in. If you've got a 401k at the state, that'll be better than a 457. If not, the 457's okay. That's just deferred comp is all 457 is. So the rule of thumb, George, is match
is going to beat the Roth, and Roth is going to beat traditional.
So do as much as you can where there's a match, then do as much as you can where there's a Roth, whether it's at the state or whether it's an individual Roth. And if you run out there and you still haven't used up the 15% of your household income, then do traditional. But it doesn't matter whose it's sitting in. Run it down through that paradigm for the whole household.
Life is full of firsts. As the first first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
It's the eve of Thanksgiving Eve. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Quite a little crowd has showed up here on their way to grandmother's house. Dropped by to have a cup of coffee and some free cookies at the old Ramsey Solutions lobby. Also on the debt-free stage here, ready to do a debt-free scream, Dominique is with us. Hi, Dominique. How are you?
Hi, guys. How are y'all?
Better than we deserve. What are you thankful for today?
I am thankful for the program that you have given America and the whole world. I really am. I appreciate y'all so much.
That's exactly how we told you to say it. Well done. That's great. Thank you, darling. We appreciate that. How much have you paid off?
$30,462.64.
I love it. And how long did it take?
9 months, 4 weeks, and 1 day.
Cool. And like 10 months, okay?
Yeah, pretty much.
And what was your range of income during that 10 months?
I went from about $60,000 to $67,000.
Cool. What do you do for a living?
I am a UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter technical inspector.
Whoa. Okay. Wow. And what kind of debt was this $30,000?
Some of it was a TSP loan, car loan, a car trailer that my ex-husband bought, and lawyer fees.
Okay. A car trailer, because you got to have one of those to carry your car.
When race cars are life.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay. So you're military, obviously. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And so, Black Hawk, you're at Clarksville up the road?
No, I work in San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
For the Texas Army National Guard.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Very cool. Well, we've got a bunch of Black Hawks up the road up here, so that's what I was thinking. Right above us here, there's a 101st and so on up at Clarksville. So
I know those guys well.
Yeah, I bet you do. Wow. Cool. Very cool. So the debt, the $30,000 in debt was what now?
It was a car loan, $16,000.
Oh, and the car trailer.
The car trailer, of course. The TSP loan that I used to buy a single wide trailer, and lawyer's fees.
So that's how the single wide's paid off?
I paid it off.
So you are 100% debt free?
Totally debt free.
Your house and everything?
Absolutely.
Okay. Good for you. Very cool. Well done. Okay, so what happened 10 months ago or so that put you on this Ramsey stuff?
So it was the middle of summer during COVID.
Of course.
And I have 2 little girls by myself. And they were stir crazy. And I was trying to find a place to take them to go swimming, to get them out of the house, to get moving. We were going hiking. And then one Saturday morning, somebody knocks on my front door with court papers. I was served in a lawsuit for $32,000 for a truck that was awarded to my ex-husband that I thought he had taken care of. And I fell apart. I had heard about you back in 2014 when I first came off active duty, and I was going to follow the plan. And then my ex-husband kind of derailed it. He didn't want to do exactly what Dave said. He didn't want to follow good choices. And so I let myself get off the good path, and we bought a house the totally stupid way, 0 down VA loan, underwater like you wouldn't believe. It got flooded by Hurricane Harvey. I didn't have flood insurance. I went through every bad thing that you can imagine. And finally I decided this is enough. They want more money than I paid for my car and my house put together, and I didn't have it. So I found a lawyer that was willing to help me fight back. And I decided I was going to dig out because I want better for my girls than I ever imagined I could have for myself.
So how much did you end up paying on the car repo from him when he took the truck according to the divorce decree?
Nothing.
Oh, you got out of it?
The lawyer's fees were all I paid on that.
Wow. Wow, good job, lawyers.
Yeah, I'm so thankful for him.
Yeah, they did a good job because you don't usually win those.
No,
So
definitely not.
you must have had an angle on that. Good job. Very cool. Good.
Wow. So you've been through a lot this last. You're just a resilient person. I don't want to get in your way.
Don't pray for strength, okay? Because God has done everything to make you stronger.
Well, it's one thing to not have a spouse on board, but to have an ex-spouse who's not on board, that makes things a whole lot more tricky.
Yeah.
And
it
you
does.
navigated this stuff while clawing your way out of debt, and with an amazing why. Those two girls sitting over there. Was that what drove you on this journey?
Absolutely, because I know that everything I do is an example for them, and they're going to want to walk the same footsteps I walk, and I want to get as far as I can so they can go further.
Wow.
Yeah, they see their mom as a fighter.
So you cleaned up all the remaining mess from the divorce.
Absolutely.
The portion that was yours ran off the car company that did the repo on the X, so that had your name on it too. But we're able to get rid of that with a legal maneuver, and then you plow your way through $30,000 in 10 months.
Absolutely.
And that means you were on beans and rice, or did you sell something?
No, I mean, every stimulus penny I got went towards it. I had money in savings because I was going to redo the front porch of my trailer because it was falling apart. And thank God, my parents came up one weekend, and my dad went to the lumber store and he bought the lumber, installed it all for me, and he was like, use that money and help dig yourself out.
Yeah, cool. How much was that?
I don't know. He
On
won't
the
tell
money
me.
in savings, I mean.
Oh, that was $4,000 or $5,000.
Okay, all right. And then the rest of the other 25,000 or so, you just plowed through.
Absolutely.
Way to go,
I
kiddo.
worked extra. I already worked 2 jobs as it is because I'm a dual status technician. I'm a civilian for the DoD during the week, and I'm a Guards member on the weekends.
Okay.
And so I couldn't take on a 3rd job, but I did everything extra I could.
Yeah, every time they let you in there, you went. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So phenomenal. Well done. What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
Intentionality. Know your goal and don't take your eyes off of it. Just keep moving.
Yeah, that's definitely you.
And I mean, I could have gotten out of it a lot quicker, but I had to be intentional with my girls too. So every month I plan one Monday a month where I pick one of them up early, and we have one-on-one time, and I focus on just them for their mental health. And so yeah, we spent a little bit of extra money that we probably could have used towards debt, but
Not
it was more
much.
important. Yeah.
There's not much room in these numbers. You were on beans and rice. I mean, that personal time's like walking through a park or something. I mean, you weren't spending serious money.
A Dairy Queen.
Well, yeah. There you go. Well done. Very, very well done.
Did you have any cheerleaders along the way? It sounds like your dad for sure.
Both my parents, my bonus mom, my ex-mother-in-law, my commander at work, he's actually a Ramsey coordinator, which I didn't know until I was kind of in the middle of digging. Just everybody, my friends, my people at church. It was great.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that helps a lot. All of a sudden, people start coming around you, and as soon as you start moving in the right direction, it accelerates the process because it gives you energy.
Oh, yes.
And because you get tired while you're plowing through this for 10 freaking months.
Yeah.
Or 9 months, 4 weeks, and 32 minutes. Yeah. I mean, wow. Pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. Well done. Well, we're going to do something today. You're the very first person we've done this with. We're going to give you a copy of the brand new book that comes out in January. We're going to give you an early release copy of Baby Steps Millionaires.
Thank you.
Because we think that's what you're going to be next. That's the next chapter in your story. We'll also give you a copy of the Total Money Makeover, and that will be for you to pay it forward and run into somebody else who's had it. They reach the end. When you finally say, I've had it, when they knock on the door and they serve that lawsuit, you go, that's it. I'm done. I'm not living like this anymore. And you brought the 2 kiddos with you, and, great T-shirts. What are their names and ages? Let's get them up there.
Tegan is 10 and Alana is 9.
All right, Tegan and Alana. Why 1 and why 2?
Absolutely.
Like thing 1 and thing 2. I love it. They are my why.
Yes.
That's very good.
I love that. That might be a first. I don't think I've seen that one before.
I hadn't seen that T-shirt.
Very
I don't
creative.
think so, but it's very, very good, and beautiful young ladies. So very, very cool. Lots of good reasons to fight, scratch, claw, and win right there. All right, Dominique, Tegan, and Alana, San Antonio, Texas. $30,000 paid off in 10 months, making 60 to 67. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt free!
Are those tears of joy? I hope so.
Single mom. She pulled it off.
Incredible.
That's how you do it right there.
No excuses.
This is The Ramsey Show. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Guys, Christmas countdown is on. They didn't move it. Christmas this year is in December. And a Christmas frame of mind goes with Thanksgiving Eve. And we like celebrating around here, as we've already established. We celebrate Christmas with our Ramsey Show listeners by giving away money, the Ramsey Christmas Cash Giveaway. It's become a tradition. Every week we are giving away $500 up through Christmas. We've already given away some. And the grand prize of $5,000. And you can enter to win every day. Increase your chances of winning. No purchase necessary. Go to RamseySolutions.com/giveaway. Plus, if you're looking for life-changing gifts for your family and friends, our famous week-long Black Friday sale, well, we're right in the middle of it. This week only, you can get up to 73% off bestsellers that will make perfect gifts for him, her, kids of all ages. Yeah, we got everything, including $10 sale on a bunch of the books, including the Total Money Makeover. It's all there. Forget the one-time use presents. Get a lifetime of hope for someone. Shop our Black Friday sale. Online store, RamseySolutions.com. Kevin's in Boise. Hi, Kevin. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, hello, sir. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up in your world?
Hey, question. I was trying to find out when you, instead of seeing a Smart Investor Pro, at what point do you buy a property for a rental income versus investing it versus, to a Investor Pro?
Okay. Well, we won't. I wouldn't suggest you start buying rental property unless you pay cash for it after your home is paid off. And so if you're using Ramsey lingo, that would be in baby step 7 then.
Yeah, Kevin, where are you at financially? Do you have a paid-for house currently?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have zero debt. We have nothing.
Way to go.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I would begin right now to pile up some money as fast as I could to pay cash for my first rental if I was you. And I think meanwhile you could probably save 15% of your income still towards mutual funds. That's the way I did it. I got my house paid off, and then I just kept doing 15% of my income into retirement in mutual funds. That's not that much, really. And then every other dollar I could scrape together for investing, I just piled it up until I paid cash for my first little rental. And that, as soon as you do that, all that rental income will help you buy the next one, too. So it snowballs in a good direction after you get it going.
Well, I guess that's where I'm at now is we do have the cash available to buy a rental income.
Great, do it.
And have it paid for. So when you get that money, you do that. So then you get that money. Where do you put the money from the rent? Do you just put it in some account to go towards another rental?
Yeah, that's what I've done. And I use some of my other money to go towards the next rental because I love real estate. And it sounds like you do too, but you don't have to do that. It's not like a mandatory part of the Ramsey plan or something. Some people don't like real estate in dealing with renters and all, and they just do mutual funds. That's okay. But what I have done was I would take extra cash and I just opened up a simple S&P 500, no commission, low turnover mutual fund, just an index fund. Okay, and I just dump money in that index fund until there's enough in there to buy another piece of real estate. And then I dump money in there until there's enough money to buy another piece of real estate. The interesting thing was it got to the point that it turned out to be a lot of money because as you get a few properties, that account builds really fast. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
and just keep going. It just seems like a safer bet with the real estate versus putting it in the funds.
It is safer in some ways in that you control more of the variables, and real estate is less volatile. It doesn't jump up and down as much in price as the stock market does. It's also a whole heck of a lot more hassle. Stuff breaks on real estate. They never call me from my mutual fund company and want an air conditioner.
Yeah.
And the mutual fund company never calls and says, I lost my job, I'm not paying my rent. We don't ever get that from them. So it makes a little less, and it's a little more volatile, but it's also a whole lot less hassle. I just kind of open up my email and see how much money I made. It's not much to it on the mutual funds. But I like the real estate. But I grew up in that business. I love real estate, and I've got a bunch of it. So, you're doing it exactly in the right order.
That's incredible. Paid for house, has the cash to buy a rental property. I'd go ahead and pull the trigger on this one.
Yeah, and usually when we get that call, it's somebody who's still fighting through their credit card debt or their student loan, and they're wanting.
They see dollar signs flash
They've been
before
watching
their eyes.
some weekend get rich quick thing on real estate crap, and they're about to get themselves into a mess.
Yeah, I see that a lot on TikTok. That's the hot thing is flip houses and real estate investing, and these are the same people who have $100,000 in student loan debt who are about to walk into a nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, TikTok. Pretty good for dance moves, maybe, but not great for financial advice.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking financial advice in TikTok. This is like,
There's a lot of bad financial advice on TikTok. I will say that.
Yeah, that's like the youngsters' version of stupid. The other one that gets me is on the other end. The old people version is if your financial products are advertised between Snuggies and walk-in bathtubs, they're probably not good. If washed up Hollywood figures are.
If Tom Selleck is selling you whole life insurance, run away.
Well, that would be, it would be long-term, or not long-term care. What is it that, No, they're selling reverse mortgages.
Oh, that's a hot
what it
one.
is. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, you need to do a fine print on reverse mortgages.
That would be a fun one.
That would be good.
I'm here. We can play some of those TV ads.
You could put the timeshare in there. You could do timeshare on one. You could do because if you guys want the next season for fine print, you guys need to email in and let George know what he's supposed to talk about.
Yes, we've had lots of great ideas come through. It's email the fine print at RamseySolutions.com if you've got an idea for an episode around a company that is scamming people, a product that's terrible for people, and there is no shortage, Dave. Apparently,
no, there's not. The timeshare industry is one. The reverse mortgages are another one that you could do. And I thought of one this morning when I was listening to the fine print and on my walk, and is actual scams. We had a guy calling his mom had gotten scammed, and not just semi-legal scams like we're talking about right here. Like timeshares are legalized fraud, right?
Yeah, but like getting your personal information.
I'm talking about like, the Spanish setup or the Nigerian prince, or there's some basic setups with these scams, and if you learn kind of how they work and expose them, and maybe interview somebody with the FBI or something on these scams.
That would be good.
I mean, we've had some really interesting calls over the years.
I have fallen for one. I fell for one.
You did?
Yes. I was really embarrassed to say it. I shipped some shoes to Nigeria off of Craigslist. I was selling some shoes on Craigslist. The guy said, hey, send them to my cousin. I'll pay you extra for the shipping. And I got the email, and I said, wow, he's really willing to pay the extra $50 to ship them. And so I just went ahead and shipped them. And it turns out the email was not from PayPal.
No.
Once I shipped it, I never checked my actual bank account to see if the money was really there. I just saw an email from PayPal, and I went, all right, he's good to go, and I shipped him. So that was my
there was an eBay scam that went around that was similar to that for a while.
Yeah.
That they would actually cut and paste and put the PayPal on it and, get you to go ahead and pay the wrong account. And it was somehow they were hacking into the system, and it was a real embarrassing.
You can replicate emails and websites to look just like the actual companies.
IRS is one. They'll
IRS
send out
does that a lot.
We need your information. They're phishing scams. We need your information in order to get phishing with a P, by the way. But, yeah. But you need to do an episode on that.
I know.
That's good.
I've had a lot of stupid tax with scams.
That's very
And
cool.
senior citizens are the most susceptible.
Nigeria needed tennis shoes, and you weren't suspicious at all.
I just thought, wow, what a nice guy. He wants to send these to his cousin in Nigeria. And I was probably 17 years old.
Who happens to be a prince.
Yes. There was no prince involved. There was no red flag. No royalty here.
No red flags except I'm shipping tennis shoes to Nigeria.
That should have
been.
Other
than that,
and a guy's looking on Craigslist for these. Who knew?
Yeah, this is where we pick them up. That's generally where we buy our shoes for Nigeria. Yeah.
Well, I just did a segment for media today helping senior citizens figure out cell phone plans. And there was one about they wanted to know how to avoid scams.
Exactly.
And so
because that's who the primary target of the scams is senior citizens.
Wire us money, buy us gift cards, give us some personal information. So I always say, when in doubt, hang up. If it seems suspicious, if it
Call
seems
back.
too good to be true. Yeah.
Yeah, and that pretty much ends the whole thing when you do that. So very, very good answer. Good answer. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, my co-host on this Thanksgiving Eve, where we are thankful for James Childs and Kelly.
Very
Booth.
thankful for them.
Austin in the booth. We're thankful he's training and that Kelly has let him live so far. This is The Ramsey Show. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where dad is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thank you for joining us. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. It is Thanksgiving Eve, and so your ticket onto the show today will be to tell us what you are thankful for as you come on the air. We want to know what you're thankful for because, well, that's what we're about around here. Thanksgiving, gratitude, generosity. These are the character traits of people who have high quality lives. George, we have a wonderful documentary out called, that you guys all need to watch over the Thanksgiving holiday if you haven't seen it, called Borrow Future. And it's already been highly successful. You can watch it on Google Play, on Apple TV, and on Amazon Prime as well. And you can watch it at borrowedfuture.com if you want to do that. We don't care, however you want to do it, but pull it up online and watch it with your family while you're hanging out. Maybe your eyes are rolling back in your head just a little bit from too much turkey, and this will wake you up because it'll scare the pee-wadding out of you. The student loan thing is a real deal. And George, you hosted the original podcast series called Borrow Future that led us into doing the full-length documentary. And so when you and I see something like Ohio State president announces debt-free degree initiative, it gets our attention.
Yeah. It's incredible. I was reading through this, and what they're doing is they're going to offer undergraduate students the chance to graduate debt-free after 4 years with this new initiative, and that's going to include a combination of scholarships, grants, and paid internships. And I love the president, Christina Johnson, and her heart behind this is not to do free tuition and free college, but instead to offer this in exchange for financial literacy instruction and students committing to graduate within 4 years. They're doing a lot of endowment and fundraising, of course, to help offset the cost of this. And what's really neat is it covers everything: tuition, room, board, fees, books, the whole shebang. So that's a pretty incredible initiative.
Yeah, this is brilliant because it's the way people ought to be going to college on their own. But the president of Ohio State Christina Johnson, has just done a great job spearheading this. And all she's saying is, we're going to help you get the scholarships. We're going to put you into an intern program where you work, particularly in the summer between, and then you go back with that money. And we're going to get some private funding, some private donors to be able to help cover the difference. She said it begins with a small pilot next year and will cover tuition, room, board, estimated cost of about $100 million a year once it's fully implemented at the end of 10 years. And the university plans to an $800 million fundraising campaign to create an endowment to where it just feeds that in perpetuation. Yeah. And it's brilliant. It's a way to do it. And there's no reason, if you're going to an in-state school, that you should have student loans. You should be able to get enough scholarships to work enough and manage your time and get out in 4 years, not 6 years.
I love that commitment as part of this initiative.
Yeah, you're not getting free college, and it's not a socialized thing. She was very clear to say that in the press release. It is not free tuition. It is not free college. It's not any of that. It's a program that allows you to go to school, work, get scholarships, get done in 4 years, and be done debt-free. I love this. Way to go. We salute you.
Yeah, and they're rolling it out next fall with 125 low and middle income students. And you got to fill out financial forms every year, kind of similar to a FAFSA situation. But I think it's so great that students can do this knowing they're going to leave with zero debt as long as they commit to 4 years, paid internship, really simple things that anyone can do.
Well, and this is, again, they're committing to doing stuff they should be doing. So it's not like it's harsh. It's not some kind of bizarre thing.
They're
where
not trading their souls for
you don't
this.
have to train tigers. I mean, that's not what it is. You don't have to run backwards in front of a speeding car. You don't have to do anything. You work.
Yep.
You apply for scholarships. You do internship, and you finish in 4 years.
What a concept.
Wow. I mean, this is neat.
I hope this works. I hope this is a model that other schools can take and go, we're going to do the same thing Ohio State did, and all of a sudden we're going to see so many more students walking off that stage completely debt-free.
Well, and what's interesting is the Associated Press, which generally comes out, pretty much to the left of Karl Marx on stuff, has given her a positive push on this. They took the press release from Ohio State and ran the good parts. So somehow they convinced the AP that this is a good idea, which is freaking amazing because generally the AP is, woo.
Well, I think the one thing that unifies us all, regardless of your politics, is the fact that this is a mess and it's a nightmare. And I love what Borrowed Future did to really paint the picture of where this is at and offer a solution.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, regardless of politics, we all think there's a problem, but the difference is we think there's different solutions.
Yes.
And she came out on the free market side, not the you should college
pay for this.
College tuition is a human right bullcrap. So instead, it's your right to go pay for it. And here's how you can do it, and we have a program. I love it. I think it's fabulously done. It's a great initiative. It's well laid out. They put enough information out in the press release to make it where the whole system is believable. It's a 10-year rollout. It's going to take them some time to do the thing. They're doing it right. It's not announced. It's not flash in the pan. It's not microwave. But I think you could get your alumni behind something like this. I mean, there's a Sharon Ramsey scholarship at the University of Tennessee now.
Oh, that's cool.
That's over there that the Ramsey Family Foundation funds every year. But I can tell you this, that this is the kind of stuff alumni that have done well in the business world would come back and support kids going to school free or going to school if they're working. And, I would support some scholarships for stuff like this. This is the kind of thing I think you could draw a lot of money in.
Yeah.
So her needing to raise $800 million to create the endowment for this is very doable.
Yeah, I think even outside people would say, I'd love to throw some money in the pot and be generous in this way to allow someone to go to school debt-free that otherwise maybe couldn't.
I would rather do that than be taxed even more.
And be forced to.
So that the government, with its inefficiencies, actually decided that it was grandpa and was going to give everybody free tuition, which is a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just socialism. And so this kind of stuff is a good free market answer to generosity to get people through school. So we salute you, the president of Ohio State University, President Christina Johnson. Well done. Well done. Some of you other universities, especially you state schools, could follow suit. It might be the smartest, best things you've ever done. Because higher ed kind of has a black eye right now. By the way, be sure and you watch Borrowed Future this weekend with your family. You don't want to miss this. Several 100,000 have already watched it, and it's already stirring up a holy ruckus, which was our full intent. So be sure and watch that documentary, and make sure some of the people in your family that think that this student loan thing is okay or whatever, make sure they get to see it. If you're not using Pure Talk for your wireless, you're paying too much. Pure Talk gives you the same great 5G coverage on the same 5G network as one of the big guys for half the cost. The average family saves over $800 a year. Go to puretalk.com and choose the affordable plan that's right for you. With their 30-day risk-free guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. George Camel Ramsey personality, host of The Fine Print, also host of the Entree Leadership Podcast, is my co-host today as we talk about your life and your money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in, we'll talk. Darlene is in San Antonio, Texas. Hi, Darlene. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, thank you, Dave. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I've been trying to get through since last Friday, so I'm really excited to speak with you. My question is, I put a contract offer in on a small fixer-upper, and it was a cash offer, and they were asking high 90s, and I came in just slightly below that, so they did accept the offer, and basically, I was going to buy the house with a loan. I did not get the loan, so I had to terminate the contract within the 3-day termination period. And the seller and the seller's agent did not like that, so they said, well, we're still going to hold you to the contract and the earnest money. And my buyer's agent said she's perfectly within her 3-day termination period, and I did speak with the title company, and the title company, the lady who pretty much manages the title company, she's the main person there, told me that you're in your 3-day termination period. You did not present the earnest check, and also the contract is full of holes, and there's the contract is incomplete. There's 2 pages missing, and I'm not going to accept the contract. And she asked us, us being my buyer's agent, myself, what is your concern? And the buyer's agent said, well, they're going to try to hold her liable for the earnest money and possible breach of contract. And she said, well, I don't see how that's going to happen when the contract is dissolved. So I just kind of wanted your thoughts on that.
Where's the earnest money now?
It was never presented because I didn't get my loan to.
Oh, so they want to
sue
sue you for the earnest money and for specific performance on the contract. Okay. Well, I'm not an attorney, but it sounds like the title company has looked at it, who looks at contracts every day and has said this is not an enforceable situation. So you can sue someone for anything. You can just make up a lie and sue someone. That's happened to me recently. So you can just make up crap, okay, and just sue somebody, and just a completely bogus thing that didn't even occur. And so in your mind, this is a contract, it's bogus, it didn't occur, but they could go sue you on it. The question is, would they win? And do they really want to write all the legal checks they got to write to sell a stinking $90,000 house? Because even a state court action is going to cost them $15,000 to $25,000 in legal fees to make you close on a $90,000 house.
Right. The house needed a roof. It was just a shell, and I thought, well, maybe I can afford it a little at a time, and it didn't. There was no way I could come up with the money, so I was declined, and I said, I'm sorry, but my agent failed to put that in the offer.
You failed to put that the contract was contingent upon financing?
Yes.
Well, that's dumber than a rock.
It was. My buyer's agent failed to include a clause saying that depending on the loan, if the loan is approved,
it should be contingent upon financing.
And she didn't.
And you, you shouldn't have signed it. You should have been able to read. Where's the contingency on financing?
Yeah. Well,
what'd you do? Sign it blind?
Yeah. The offer was. She said as soon as the offer is accepted, it is the contract. It becomes the contract.
I know. So why did you make an offer that was not contingent upon financing? You and your buyer's agent ought to have your butts kicked.
Well, I explained that she didn't get that part. So I told her my loan was declined. So there's no way I can. So
no, you're misunderstanding me. The offer that you made did not contain. The offer that you made and was accepted did not contain a contingency on financing, meaning the contract was not contingent on financing. You nor your buyer's agent made sure it was in there. That was dumb.
And that's what I was asking my buyer's agent.
No, I'm asking you. You're the grown-up person that signed the contract. Your buyer's agent was dumb, but so were you. I mean, you said you stepped up into this trap. Now, I don't know. What's the 3-day thing? Has Texas got a 3-day right of rescission on residential real estate contracts?
That was their write-up in the offer.
Oh, they gave you 3 days?
They gave me 3 days. That was the first thing on the offer. So that's the termination period that you get 3 days on a cash offer. And that was the seller's write-up. So.
Well, that's weird, too. Okay.
And they didn't complete the contract. They left out 2 pages. And
if the contract is not completed, then it isn't. Listen, in every state in the United States, a real estate contract has to be signed by both parties to be fully executed and become a contract. Otherwise, it's an offer and a counteroffer. And it sounds like that you have dealt with the most incompetent group of people I've heard of in a long time in the real estate business. None of this is rocket science. And so, yeah, I hope you learned your lesson. Don't make stuff that count on 3-day rights of rescission. Put in there what this is going on. If the deal is contingent upon financing, put it in there. Make it part of the deal.
Sounds like they're trying to take advantage of this hole.
They did take advantage of it, and they took advantage of the fact that there's not a 3-day that the contract wasn't completed properly, so there isn't actually even a contract.
You said there's 2 pages missing. Who knows what the pages were?
It wouldn't be enforceable anyway, and there's no earnest money actually transferred hands to start with. So, the whole deal was just really.
Sounds like they're trying to spook her into getting some easy money from this.
Well, they're just mad because she didn't close. That's all it is. And they all ought to be mad at themselves for doing this deal.
Everyone should be
all
mad.
4 parties should have their butts kicked in this deal. It's just horribly executed. And that's why there's so much disappointment. But I don't think you're going to get sued, and I don't think they're going to win if you do sue you. Now, I'm not a lawyer. You'd have to talk to a lawyer to be sure. But I think your title company person is maybe the only one that's competent in the whole discussion here. So...
real estate can get messy if you don't do it right.
Guys, listen, not referring to her situation, but just in general. I was talking to a real estate agent the other day. When I got my real estate license in 1978, people used to consider writing a contract like giving their word. Like you're going to keep your word. Like it's like when I sign a contract that says I'm going to do something, that means I gave my word and I'm going to do it. Even if I don't like it, even if it hurts my feelings, even if whatever I said I was going to do, I need to do.
That's integrity.
That's gone, apparently. People just walk away from real estate contracts like they just, decided to, I'm going to go buy 73 pairs of clothes, try them all on, and take them back the next day. I mean, it's that kind of crap. That's the way they treat house deals now. And, you're executing a real estate contract on a house, including our caller, but everybody else out there, more importantly than her, make sure that what you're doing is something you are able and willing to follow through on. Don't mess with people's lives. Don't play games. And so I sold my personal residence this year, very expensive property, and I took a huge earnest money check for this reason right here. Because I was going to be, if they didn't want to close and wanted to walk away, I was going to be happy to put it back on the market and put that much money in my pocket. And that earnest money check was camped at my title company, and so there's just, you just cannot, you've got to, don't enter into these things willy-nilly. Don't enter into these things on impulse. This is a real estate transaction. It's massive. Make sure that before you shake hands and you sign on the dotted line that you're able and you're willing to do what that offer says. Now, if the offer says contingent upon financing, you're unable to get the financing, then you're out of the deal. And that's what should have been done in this last caller. And instead of sneaking around inside of a 3-day right of rescission. If the offer says contingent upon accepting the report from the home inspector, then when the report comes in, if there's $3 things, morally, you should close on the house. You know? Now, you have the right, technically, to walk away. I don't like the inspection report. Yeah, it's three $3 things, which means you were just playing freaking games to start with, and you're screwing around with somebody's home. Now, you shouldn't do that. People do it all the time nowadays, though.
Yeah.
Be careful out there.
Lack of commitment.
If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. If you've ever gone through a life emergency you weren't prepared for financially, well, we've all just about been there. You know what sick to your stomach, sweaty palms feeling is all about. As a parent, you hope your child never has to go through an experience like that. But teaching teenagers how to be smart with money before they make dumb mistakes, well, that can be a big job too. And this is how it gets you ready for life. You don't have to resort to the School of Hard Knocks to teach your kids. With our digital self-study courses, your teen can learn the right way to handle money, no matter what curveballs they get thrown at them as they go down life's roads, right? If your teen has a tablet, computer, they're set to start learning how to budget. No instructor is needed. They can learn how to save and invest, how to be outrageously generous, how to write a resume, how to start their own business. Parents, get your kids off to a great financial start and go to RamseySolutions.com/self-study to learn more about all of the different courses that we have available for your middle or high schooler. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com, great American company. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you screw up, if you mismeasure, you pick the wrong color, I've done both, they'll remake your window blinds for free. That's a pretty big guarantee. Like a you're stupid guarantee, I'm stupid guarantee. That's pretty cool. You get free samples, free shipping, and the new promos they run every month. You'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal at Blinds.com.
Today's question comes from Sebastian in South Carolina. I went gazelle intense the day I graduated college and paid off $38,000 in 17 months. I'm an engineer making $70,000. I lived on rice and beans and rice while using around 45% of my income to pay off my student loans, which were my only debts. I'm now struggling to make it through baby step 3. I have 2 months of expenses saved up already, but it's taken me 3 times longer than I had expected. Should I feel bad about how slow my progress is now that I'm debt-free? How do I find more motivation to save faster? I feel like I worked so hard to get out of debt, but I don't have the same intensity on baby step 3 as I did back in baby step 2. This is pretty common. This is a tough one because people get discouraged. There's not the immediate reward when you see the debt pay off, and you might be tired. You're in the middle of the marathon after baby step 2, and I understand. I have empathy for those who go, man, baby step 3 isn't as exciting as the excitement of debt snowball, paying off those debts, getting rid of the lenders, and all of that. So I understand that. But here's my question. Where did that 45% of the income go that was going towards the debt? you should have been through this by now, but it sounds like there's some other things. We're getting a little lackadaisical with saving.
Not only did the motivation go down, but the spending went up.
Yes.
And the amount of money going towards this baby step 3 is not very good. And that's what he's saying. How do I get back to that? And so what I would do is I think you need to lay it out there and go, okay, I can either let this pain go on for 9 months or I can let it go on for 3 months. And the deeper I sacrifice, the shorter I'm in the pain. Because once you finish baby step 3, you're no longer in gazelle intensity. Now you're on intentionality, and now you can loosen up. And very carefully, very intentionally spending money, but very carefully, very intentionally, moving on through the other baby steps as well. But the intensity needs to stay up through this. And I think if you just sit down, you are an engineer, so you can do the math, right? And go, okay, if I go back to my old ways, for 3 months, I can be done. But if I don't, it's going to take me 9 months. Now, what do you want to do? You want to kind of just slosh around for 9 months or go hardcore for 3 and then be done? That would give me help. If I could see the light come closer, as the light at the end of the tunnel comes closer as a result of increasing my intensity.
Yeah, if I'm at the doctor getting a shot, I want it to be quick and painful versus not so quick and a dull pain forever. And so that's what I think we're feeling here with Sebastian's situation. He needs to just remind himself why he's doing this. He wants to get to where he's building for the future instead of paying for the past. And this is that final force field between him and life where he doesn't have to worry anymore, and he has that financial peace. So I think you need to remind yourself of the why and get that motivation back and realize that you could be done in a month or 2 months, or you could let this sit for another 12 and be frustrated.
That's exactly it. That's the only shot I've got at it if I'm in his shoes. Because no one thinks, oh, let's sacrifice and go deep. That's so fun. No one thinks that, unless you're kind of weird. But most of us are going, we're doing this, we're going to live like no one else so that we can live and give like no one else.
He's so close.
You did the beans and rice thing, dude, and here's the point. It's easy to talk to yourself and say, that worked. It worked. So let's do it again. Logan is with us in Atlanta. Hi, Logan. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi.
What are you thankful for today?
So I'm thankful actually for family, and then I'm thankful for the owner of the company I work for because she told my brother-in-law, which is my manager, about you guys.
Oh, wow.
And he told me about you guys. So, chain reaction.
Cool. Cool. How can we help?
So I was actually offered a new position at work. The downfall, I make about $19 an hour. I'm supposed to be getting a raise, $1 raise, annual raise with my evaluation the end of this month. And the new position, I won't raise anything. I won't gain any money for a whole year, and I lose out on about $500 a month. But then after the first year, I'll make an extra $10 an hour, and I'm just not really sure what to do.
Okay, are you going to be paid hourly at both of these?
Yes.
Why are they cutting? Why are they cutting your pay then to give you a promotion?
Well, it's not really cutting my pay. I make hourly, but then I get commission. So depending on what I sell and how much I sell, then I get 10% of that.
Okay, so you make $19 an hour plus commission now, due for $1 an hour raise. What's the new position pay?
The new position is going to be what I make now, but I'll be learning, so I won't make any commission.
$19.
Out of my own. Yeah.
How big a company is this?
It's not small, but it's not big. It's probably about
How many employees?
50 employees.
How many?
About 50.
Okay. So your boss that's making you this offer is talking to the owner?
It's one of the managers is making the offer.
Yeah, but not without clearing it with the owner in a 60-person company.
Right.
Yeah, so the two of them are talking it through. So here's what I would do. I would just sit down with them and go, I really want to do this, but I'm taking a pay cut to do it. Did you all realize that? And
right.
is there some way we can structure this so I don't get a pay cut with my promotion? Because honestly, while I really appreciate the promotion and all, I don't know how that works in my head. And just question it. They may come back and go, that's probably right. I wouldn't want to get a promotion and a pay cut. And so, we're going to give you, $21 or whatever so that it basically washes out with your old commissions and moves you into the new role because they're trying to move you up.
Right.
Now,
Yeah,
when you
'cause where I'm at
when you
now-
finish your training, you said they're going to be training you. Will you be making more then?
Yes. So the training's going to take about a year, just because of how much is into it, because it's fire protection stuff. So once I get fully trained in that department, I'll make about $30 an hour.
That's a big jump.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe they do realize it, and just go, wow, I really thank you for that. I still would ask the question, but I wouldn't ask it with any entitlement or any arrogance. I would just say, hey, I really want to do this. Is there anything I can do extra in the new role that would allow you to pay me what I'm already making total?
Right.
So that it makes this a no-brainer.
Right.
Just
yeah,
ask
and I'm
that.
in baby step 1 right now, so I just started out your guys' stuff, and I just wasn't sure on what to do, so I figured reach out to you guys.
Here's the thing: don't go in and slap your fist on the table. That's not my point. We're not going. We're not going in with anything like that. This is just going, hey guys, help me with this. I'm a young guy. I'm trying to figure this out. I really want to do this. Is there anything I can do in the new position that would make it where you would want to pay me the total of what I'm making right now, so that it makes it a no-brainer for me to take this promotion, because I really want to do it.
Yeah.
And just see if you can talk them up that way.
The upside is making $20K more. So if he's going to stay stable, I don't want him to take a pay cut. But even if he does, he's going to make $20K a year from now more than he is. I like those odds if it's guaranteed.
I'm taking it either way, but I'm going to ask the question. In a small company, you've got there's not as much policies, not as much corporate bullcrap to wade through to get something like this considered. This is The Ramsey Show. Happy Thanksgiving, America. It's Thanksgiving Eve here on The Ramsey Show. What are you thankful for? George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. Brian is with us. Brian's in Cincinnati. Hey, Brian, what are you thankful for?
I am thankful for the wonderful extended family God has granted me, because if it was possible, I would trade in 90% of my blood family.
That's a good answer.
Oh, love it. How can we help?
Yes, my wife and I are working on our wills, and of course, we are leading each other everything if something happens to this one of us, but we're wanting to set up college funds for our grandchildren if something happens to both of us. And at this point, the majority of the money would be coming from my life insurance and the 401k.
Okay. And
I have no idea where to start on that. I wasn't sure if it's a trust fund that we would set up for that, or how we would do it, and what the 401k would be, the second beneficiary, and the same with the life insurance.
Yeah, I think that you would just name your secondary beneficiary on both to be a family trust, a grandchild trust. You can give it a name that is formed in the will upon your death. It's much like if you had minor children, you would leave everything in the case of both parents' death, into a trust to take care of the minor children until they're grown, and you would name that trust. But that trust is formed only upon your death. It's not formed ahead of time. And so then both of these accounts, the life insurance, 401k, would pay into that, and then you put the terms on the trust, how you want the trust managed, and upon your death, that this would be formed, and who the trustee is, who's going to be managing the money. And so, like in our case, when we had minor children, we said, okay, we wanted invested in 4 types of growth stock mutual funds: growth, growth and income, aggressive growth, and international. We want them all to have 10-year track records, and we don't want the money sitting in a CD in a bank, because it won't even keep up with inflation. And the kids can have money use out of it under these circumstances. And at this age, whatever balance is left in the account will be handed over to them, and so on. And so you could do the same thing here, that you say, okay, if they go to a 4-year school that is an in-state tuition or whatever constraints you want to put on it. And they need to graduate before they're 35, I don't know, 25, whatever. We're not going to we don't want lifelong students because of this. We want them to get out and get a job and move on with their life. That's the purpose of it. And so kind of think through some of that, and you need to put some parameters on that trust and build out the guidelines of how it is to be operated by that trustee then, and none of this will happen until both of you pass away.
Okay, and like our oldest granddaughter, she's 10 right now. She, of course, at 10, it's going to change probably. But she has dreams of being a vet, which is a lot more than a 4-year degree. Mm-hmm. Of course, she would be the first one to hit it. What would you recommend as far as stating a cutoff point for that to make sure there's enough for the other? And right now we have 2.5 more. The next one's due in 4 months.
Yay.
So there would be 3 after her.
I mean, you can just run the math out on it and see. It would not be unusual in something like you're doing to make it for the 4-year degree only, and if they do postgraduate work, they're on their own.
Okay. Yeah, right now it would be like $650,000 if something happens to me tomorrow.
Yeah. And there's how many kids?
It would be 4 total at this point.
Yeah, okay. And they're babies? That's probably enough for 4-year degrees is all. In-state tuition.
Okay.
By the time they get there. Now, it'll grow some during that time, assuming it's invested, because you said some of them are not even born, so that's part of the equation. But you got 8 years before the first one starts tapping it, so it'll double once more. I don't know. Yeah, you may have enough to do more than that, but I think you could set up a math formula in the thing that says, when the account when the first student appears. We're going to apply this formula to the current balance, and that tells you if you can do more than a 4-year degree.
Would it make sense to open a 529 in their name in this case? I mean, I know he wants it upon death, but it's something that you could open now and let that grow while they're alive. It's obviously not part of the will.
You could, but it's not part of the will. You'd have to do it with other income because you can't use your 401k money for that, and you can't use life insurance because you're not dead. So, but it would have to be other money that you came up with and funded it.
I guess I'm wondering, is it, why do they want it upon death versus while they're still alive, start to set that up for them?
Well, the two sources are not accessible today, will be the only reason. But if they've got other sources of money that's accessible, then you could look at doing that. So, very cool. Very cool. Leah is with us, or Lee, in New York City. Is it Leah or Lee?
It's Leah. Hi.
Great. Hi. Happy Thanksgiving. What are you thankful for?
I'm thankful that my family is healthy and that we are on baby step 3.
Yay! How can we help?
Hi. So we have been on a budget for a while, but from time to time we keep running into this issue of that we can't wait for the next paycheck to come. It's almost like we're running out of money, and I feel like we're not doing something right in dividing up the money or the budget within the month. And also, even though we are on baby step 3 and we paid off all our debt, we kind of still feel like at this point that we're almost like living paycheck to paycheck, so to speak.
What's your household income?
So, my husband is working, he's making $9,400 take-home pay.
Mm-hmm. That's your household income?
Yes.
Okay.
And
per month.
So when you guys were doing a budget, when you were paying off debt, was there margin left over?
Well, at the time I was also working. It was very hard. It was.
So there was a drop in income.
Not much.
Is that what's causing this? The drop in income from you not working?
I don't think so. I mean, we did have another child, and my income wasn't so great. I was working only part-time, and he also received a raise in the past few months.
Okay, when you do a budget, both of you sit down and look at what is allocated to each category, and you're both agreeing to that.
Correct.
And then what happens that blows it up?
The budget is fine. We have money for everything and every category. It's just that as we start spending the money and starting to track the money, it's almost like we run out of the actual money in the bank before
Well, no, the bank money is reflected on the budget, so you're running out of money in the category if you're overspending. You're either overspending a category or underfunding a category.
If you have 9,400 take-home pay,
that. It's just that, let's say our bills are due earlier than the next paycheck would come in. It's like he gets.
Why would you budget that? You need to budget what's the reality is. Your budget's not a mythology template that just is the way you wish life is. Your budget needs to reflect what life is.
And it does.
No, it doesn't, because your bills are coming up in a budget outside the budget. They're coming due, and they're not budgeted for.
The actual money is not in our checking account.
You're saying it's a timing problem, but you need to be budgeting for whatever that paycheck coming in. You need to make sure that you've got a plan for that money, and that money needs to be able to cover your bills.
So within the month, it's budgeted for correctly. It's just that the money is not in my checking account yet.
And that's what we're saying is don't budget for money that doesn't exist. If you've got 9,400 coming in.
Because we get paid twice a month.
Okay. So you've got to learn to adjust the budget into two halves then, the 2 times a month, where you've got a certain amount coming out for food in the first half of the month, but you've got a bunch of other bills hitting, so your food budget may be a little lower in the first half and a little higher in the back half when you don't have as many other bills hitting. So you may have to run 2 half budgets that are zeroed out to make this work, to get your timing right, until you can get a little bit ahead of the budget and have a little bit of slush in there to be able to make this run. But I think you guys are watching too much Netflix and not spending enough time on this budget. This is not rocket science. You can sit down and figure this out when both of you lean into it and sit down and look at it and push on it and go, every one of these dollars needs a name, and it needs to reflect the reality of our month. The cable bill is due on the 25th. That has to show up in this budget. The electric bill is due on the 3rd. That has to show up in this budget. We have to see how that's going to work and just spend a little bit of time on it, planning it out. I think you can do it.
Hey guys, this is James, senior producer for The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? And a lot of those people listen on one of our 600 plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, head to theramseyshow.com.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the fact that you're a baby steps millionaire has taken the place of the status symbol of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. A paid-off home mortgage could be an indicator that you're a baby steps millionaire, that you're an everyday millionaire, that you're a millionaire. We're going to talk about all three this hour. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. If you are an actual millionaire, regardless of how you got there, whether you're a baby steps millionaire, meaning you followed the baby steps to get there, you're an everyday millionaire, meaning you started with nothing and you got there, which is a type of baby steps millionaire, or maybe you just hit the lotto last week, or your grandmother left you $10 million.
That'd be a fun one.
That'd be neat. I don't care how you got there. Call us up and tell us how you became a millionaire. Now, we need to define this for you, because some people don't understand what a millionaire really is. An actual millionaire, there's only one definition. Well, that's your definition. No, there's only one. It's not just mine. It's a financial planning, accounting, mathematics, arithmetic thing. You don't get to reinvent crap because you had a feeling once, okay? So someone that makes $1 million a year could be a millionaire, but that does not make them a millionaire. A millionaire is a net worth statement. It means that you have $1 million or greater net worth. Your net worth is what you own minus what you owe. assets minus liabilities on the balance sheet is a net worth statement. Until you have $1 million in that bottom right-hand corner, after you do that calculation or more, you are not a millionaire. You're not a billionaire unless you have $1 billion in that corner. You could make $1 billion. The company that you own might have $1 billion top line, but it doesn't make you a millionaire, doesn't make you a billionaire. It's very important to know definitions.
Thank you for clearing that up, Dave. There's a lot of mythology out there around this, and I've been doing the man on the street segments, and you go and you ask people, hey, what do you think when you think millionaire? They think celebrities, they think athletes, they think CEOs of huge companies, and the truth is they're probably thinking closer to billionaires, and you talk about this in your new book, Baby Steps Millionaires, defining the difference, because in people's minds, they just kind of get a little squirrely, and they don't think straight about really what it takes, and it's all about what you own minus what you owe. It's that simple.
Yeah. Well, money's not that important. Okay, but this is not a moral construct. It's an arithmetic thing. Well, $1 million isn't enough. Probably, but it doesn't matter. You're still a millionaire. A millionaire is a millionaire is a millionaire. It's not a moral construct. It's not about whether I don't feel rich. I don't care. That doesn't mean you're not a millionaire. It's not a measure of your feelings. If we got into that, good Lord, in this culture, all we would do is we'd have to have a feelingometer.
I just feel like a millionaire, Dave. I feel like $1 million today.
There you go. I feel like $1 million. Oh, God, oh, shit.
Well, it's fun to celebrate. It's a big milestone for a lot of people.
Well, it is a good milestone because it's not super rich, but it's richer than most people.
It feels unattainable to the average person
There's
out there.
about 13 million millionaires in America today.
Wow. 13 million?
So there's a lot of them. And there's less than 1,000 billionaires. So it's very rare to be a billionaire. It's not that rare to be a millionaire.
And you can't spot them in the grocery store hardly.
Nah, you can't tell them because they don't look any different. Because they don't have enough money to buy a private jet. They don't have enough money to buy a Lamborghini. It's not that much. I mean, a Lamborghini's $250,000, man. Oof. Private jet's millions of dollars. They got $1 million. So you need to understand this is what we're dealing with. Anyway, it's still a great milestone. It's still something to be celebrated. You're still very unusual. You still have built a level of wealth that most people never get to think about, and it's still a great, great target. And we want to celebrate you if you are a millionaire this hour. Call in and tell us how you did it. We want to interview you. We're going to call. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Jeff is in Chicago. Jeff, what's your net worth?
My net worth is $3 million. And Dave, if I may say quickly from the outset that I came across your videos just a couple years ago on YouTube, and I saw real fast that you were giving great advice. But two things that you said that I really liked was that if you don't retire a millionaire, it's your fault. And if you're buying things that you cannot afford, that's not a signal that you're wealthy. That's a signal that you're stupid. Those two things really stood out for me.
Yeah, it sounds like something I would say.
Yep.
When you repeat it back to me, it sounds harsher than when I say it in my head. But
yeah, you said it pretty harshly, but I liked it.
It was a little more entertaining when you said it.
I like it. All right, so what's the mix of this $3 million? Give me some category breakdowns of where this wealth is.
Okay, so $3 million. My house is paid off about $350 in value, and the $2.65 million is spread out between my 457B, my Roth, and I have a taxable account at Vanguard. Now, I just retired after 29 years and 4 months, so I also have a pension of $104,000. I don't know how you factor that into your analysis.
Oh, pension is the income.
Correct.
Yeah,
so
okay.
It's just the income stream. So I don't know if it's irrelevant,
but
I just figured I'd let you know.
All right, we'll cash the check. That's for sure. How old are you?
I wish I could. 51.
51 years old. How much of this $3 million did you inherit?
Zero.
And your range of income, household income during your working life, what was your best household income, your worst household income so far?
So when I started at 21, I would say probably around $35,000. And then, of course, over the years, I got raises, and I culminated this year when I retired at about 130. So I guess the mean would be around 90, 95.
Okay. And what did you do for a living?
I was a Chicago police lieutenant.
Oh, awesome. Very cool. All right. And are you married?
No.
Okay. And your degree is in what?
So I finished my college degree when I got on a job, and then several years later I went and got my law degree. And then after that I went and I got my LLM after that, which is basically an advanced law degree.
Wow.
But I never really practiced it. I just did it. I taught some. I published some articles like on the Second Amendment. I'm a big pro Second Amendment guy, and some estate planning stuff. But I never really used it, parlayed it into a source of revenue.
Okay. And what was your GPA back in college?
High school and college, I was a CC minus student. It wasn't until I got into law school that I took it seriously, and then I got good grades.
Okay, cool. So how much of this $3 million of net worth that you have is there because you borrowed money to create wealth?
Zero. I have had a credit card since I was 18, and I've never paid a nickel interest on it. My dad always said, there's a difference between what you need and what you want. And by the way, he retired as a police officer, 60 years old, with $1 million following these principles. So he's in the club too. But wow. No, I didn't. I never borrowed anything other than my mortgage.
Okay, so you got a young, brand new person on the police force that's listening. And they're listening to this guy who's 50-something years old, who's a retired police lieutenant in Chicago, has $3 million in net worth, zero debt of any kind. Tell them how to do that. And can they still do it?
Well, absolutely they can do it. And my first advice would be, which I've told younger guys over the years, is firstly, it's a mindset. Forget all the fancy cars, the fancy clothes, the watches. It's not important. Nobody cares. As a matter of fact, most people who have that stuff actually can't afford it. Cool. It reminds me of The Millionaire Next Door, that chapter, Big Hat, No Cattle. It's all fake.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as implementing it, then I would say maximize your 457, your Roth, stay out of debt, live below your means, and by the way, stay away from those cash value life insurance policies.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at BethelTech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's BethelTech.net/Ken Coleman.
Happy Thanksgiving, America. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, and I are here to talk to you about millionaires this hour. And we're talking with real millionaires, not your broke brother-in-law with an opinion. People who have actually done it. How did they do it? Did they inherit their money? Did they steal from someone? Are all rich people evil? Are they all NBA stars or NFL stars or actors or music icons? No, no, and no, and no. All the data tells us that, but there are a lot of political opinions and jealousy. There's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of socialism out there floating around in America, and we're here to defeat all of that with actual facts.
Yeah, I love what you say about this. Money makes you more of whoever you are. So are there some evil wealthy people? Sure. There's some evil poor people out there too. And so it really is not a reflection of character. But there is a piece of this where you've interviewed so many of these millionaires, and it turns out just work ethic and consistency over time will make you a millionaire.
That's how you do it.
Surefire way.
And we've started seeing so many of them that were baby steps millionaires that actually followed the baby steps. Because I've been teaching Financial Peace University and the 7 baby steps for close to 30 years now. And so lots and lots of people, because the average millionaire takes about 17 years to get there. And so lots and lots of people have followed the baby steps. And so they're literally baby steps millionaires. And so people kept asking about that. And there was all this pushback. Well, you only follow Ramsey until you're not broke. And then if you really want to be wealthy, you don't follow Ramsey. Well, it turns out a lot of wealthy people became wealthy because of exactly what we teach at Ramsey. And so I wrote a new book. I haven't done one in 8 years, but I thought it was time to do one. We had a Ramsey personality named Chris Hogan who did a wonderful book here called Everyday Millionaires. We've sold quite a few of those, 500,000 of them or so. And that book is all about the research study that we at Ramsey did and the conclusions of that study. We'll reference it this hour as well, and all about the largest study of millionaires ever done in North America, over 10,000 of them. And so Chris did that book when he was here, and that came out a couple of years back and did very, very well. And then I'm doing a follow-up book that is not the same thing, but it is about the same subject in a sense, because it's about millionaires, only it's baby step millionaires. And so what I've done is gone through and said, okay, if you don't think you can do it, here's why you don't think, and here's where you're wrong. And here's what the math says, and here's what happens when you follow the baby steps. Exactly what you will do and how you will get there. So if you've heard all about the baby steps, you're going to hear about them again. There's nothing in here that's new insight. It's just showing you, it's proof positive that if you follow the baby steps, you will become a millionaire and then some.
And I love on the website, when I went to check out this book, it said the quickest right way to become a millionaire. And I love that, because we don't do get rich quick, we do get rich slow.
And get rich on purpose, and get rich where you stay rich and you don't lose it all, like I did the first time I did this. So Baby Steps Millionaires is on sale now at RamseySolutions.com. You can pre-order the book. You'll get the Baby Steps Millionaires audiobook, ebook, and you'll get the Legacy Journey audiobook and ebook. You'll get the Baby Steps Millionaire live stream, which comes out in January with the book. The Ramsey Smart Tax, you'll get to file your taxes free with that, and you'll have the Ramsey Plus 30-day free trial. All of these are upgrades and free things coming to you. Almost $200 worth of items when you buy a $200 book pre-ordered. It comes out and will actually be shipped on January the 11th, but it's you can see it on Amazon, you can see it on our website, and it all came out of the Everyday Millionaires movement with Chris Hogan. The Everyday Millionaires movement came out of me doing this hour, where we're talking with real millionaires and discovering who they really are. Graceland is a millionaire. Graceland is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Graceland, what is your net worth?
$85,000.
Say it again.
$1,085,000.
Okay,
so barely over.
Okay, well, I'm gonna call it 1.1. Good for you. All right, give me a little breakdown on your 1.1. What's the categories?
For retirement, I have $875,000. In my house, I have $60,000, and then in taxable investments and other savings, I have $150,000.
Good for you. How old are you?
I'm 37.
Whoa, a young millionaire. Good for you. Okay, how much of this did you inherit?
Well, that is unique to me, I think, and why I wanted to call, because starting in my 30s, I have been gifted $180,000 from my parents at $30,000 a year for 6 years.
Okay, so 180 of the 1.1 has come to you, and so they're using the gift tax law to transfer some out of their estate, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's very cool. I love that. And you're right, this is unusual, so I love your call. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so you got 180 since you were 36 years, or 31 years old, $30,000 a year, 15 from mom, 15 from dad to meet gift tax guidelines. And you've done what with that money?
It was always agreed upon that I would use it to max out my Roth IRA and 401k.
I love your parents.
Cool.
I love your parents. They're changing their family tree. So well done. So what is your income?
So my income currently is about $61,000.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a civil engineer.
Okay. So you're good with numbers too, then. And so do you resent your mom and dad putting all these guidelines on this?
No. I mean, I know that the reason I'm here is because I'm guided and gifted by my wise parents. And it's always an agreement with them. We had a wedding this year. I just got married, and it was a big negotiation how much to spend on the wedding. But I always appreciate their generosity.
Wow.
Did you ever think you'd be a millionaire at 37 years old?
No, 5 years ago I was halfway here, and I felt so free. but I did not know it would happen so fast. I mean, the market returns. You might question whether you should leave it in mutual funds in the market, but I don't know. I don't think it's a question anymore.
Yeah. So when did you get married?
I got married this month.
Hey, congratulations. So how does he fit into all of this from a relationship standpoint? Is he bought in on this whole program? Obviously, or you wouldn't have married him.
We did FPU together before we got married, and he didn't come from the same kind of understanding of money.
Nobody
it was his
did.
Main fear. Yeah. And so we agreed no credit cards. He cut up his credit cards, and he just got on board. He sees what I've been able to do and is ready to be a partner in that.
What a dreamboat. There it is.
This is everything every parent wants, is you and who you married.
This feels like a prank call.
My kids are your age, and so this is like perfect. Thank you. Thank you for proving that what your mom and dad did can be done. What is their net worth, would you guess?
Well, it's probably over $5 million.
Yeah, I was going to guess that. Yeah. Good. Awesomeness. Very, very cool. All right, so your 180 that you've collected since in the last 6 years is probably close to half of your net worth. Is that fair?
That it grew?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just guessing. I was doubling it. Yeah, so probably 500,000, double it or triple it, and then the rest of it you've done.
Mm-hmm.
That's so neat. That is so powerful. This is how, the parents listening, this is how you change your family tree. You raise a Graceland. And listen to what Graceland did. She respected her mom and dad. She respected and understood their process. She embraced it. She became it. She wouldn't marry outside of it. She taught her new husband how to do it as part of the agreement. This is how you do it. This is how you change your family tree, because you can't dump enough money on dumb kids to straighten them out. You are awesome, kid. I'm loving you. Thank you so much for joining us. I love your story. I love your mom and dad. I love your new husband. I love you. You're the whole package.
That made my day.
So much love. So much love. This is The Ramsey Show. It's a Baby Steps Millionaire Theme Hour. You may have become a millionaire using the baby steps. You may have become a millionaire on your own without the baby steps, or you may just have become a millionaire. Maybe your parents gave you some money. Maybe you inherited some money. We don't care how you got your $1 million. We want to talk to you because we want to talk to real millionaires, not people with an opinion that are broke. Because jealousy and envy are not mathematical formulas. And then we'll talk about the real statistics of millionaires. The reason we do this is we want to let you know that it's possible for you to get there. That's what the book Baby Steps Millionaires is all about. It is I have proven through every possible lens that you can analyze it to you by the time you finish this book that it is not only possible, it's probable that you will become a millionaire if you do the stuff we teach. Brooks is with us in Oklahoma City. Hi, Brooks. What's your net worth?
Hey, good afternoon, Dave. Our net worth is $1.1 million.
Good for you. Give me a little breakdown on that by category.
Yes, sir. 600 in IRAs and the thrift savings plan, 155 in some real estate investments, 130 in a taxable brokerage, 30 in college funds, and then the rest is some equity in the house and cash.
Good for you. How old are you?
39.
All right.
My wife is 40.
Excellent, excellent. So how much of this 1.1 did you inherit?
None of it.
Zero. And what's been the range of your household income since you guys started working? Best year and worst year?
Mm-hmm. So worst year was $20K right out of college, and then last year we were fortunate to be at about 140.
Good for you. And what do you guys do for a living?
I'm an officer in the Air Force, and my wife has a small business she runs.
Thank you for your service. Excellent. Do you have a 4-year degree?
Yes, sir, and a couple masters. As my wife said on our very first date, I'm a huge nerd.
I love it.
She's got a degree as well.
Okay. What's your some of your degrees in?
I have a mechanical engineering undergrad, an MBA, and then a Master of Arts in Military Operations.
Perfect. Wow. What's your average GPA across all that?
Around a 3.8 to a 4.0, somewhere in there.
Okay. Phenomenal. Well done, sir. Well done. And you're millionaire starting from nothing as an Air Force officer and a small business owner by the time you're 40 years old.
Yes, not all by ourselves. We had help along the way from family as far as opportunities, but we've been blessed, very blessed.
When you say opportunities, what do you mean?
My dad's done real estate, and once I got out of college and thought it was a good idea at the time to take out some money to invest, he put me in gave me some opportunities to make money that I had not necessarily earned at my young age at the time, and they worked out really well. But looking back, if I hadn't had my dad there to help me,
so did he kind of kickstart?
So you had some guidance, but he didn't give you money.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
okay.
That's about right.
All right, that's what I was trying to figure out. Excellent. Well done. Very well done, and very well played. Okay, so you're talking to a young enlisted man or woman. Can they still do this?
Absolutely.
What do they need to do?
They just have a plan. Just ahead of time, don't look back at your money. Look at what it's doing for you in the future, and you have to become comfortable with living below your means. And you can't necessarily go out and buy all the flashy stuff that your friends are doing, and you need to be okay with that. And there's the math all makes sense to me. I'm a math guy, but there's an emotional component that's tied up in finances, and you got to kind of come to terms with that as an individual. And my wife wanted to say you got to be looking ahead, and you can't focus on the near-term benefits if you want to have some long-term paybacks.
Agreed. Now, have you all had a life during this 15 or 20 years, or have you just lived in a cave and collected lint and coupons?
No, we've had a fantastic life. We've had some great vacations and good opportunities, and just we've had a lot of fun. But I drive an 8-year-old car that's paid for, and I have no desire to get something new because I want to spend that money on the family and trips and experiences. And I drive 15 minutes to work every day. I don't really care what I drive.
Wow. So your priorities shifted as you began to build wealth, and you decided what's important for you and your family.
Yes, we did. As a team, we talk every month a couple times about the budget, and about quarterly or half a year we'll kind of sit down and see if our priorities have changed and if we need to shift where our emphasis is and things like that. Because again, life happens, things change, and we're flexible, but we have some guidelines. We're both baby steps folks. And so it's gotten us to a fantastic place where we can have a lot of fun and know that our future is pretty secure.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, and thank you again for your service. We're very proud of you. 40 years old, $1.1 million net worth. Liz is up next, and Liz is in Lansing, Michigan. Liz, what's your net worth?
Our net worth is $4 million.
Cool. Give me a little breakdown on that by category.
Yeah. Okay. So we have one son left in college, and so he has $100,000 in his 529. We have $300,000 in cash, and then the rest is investments for retirement. A $600,000 paid for house. Yeah. So I think that's it.
Okay. So you got about $3 million in your 401ks and IRAs.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit over that, I think.
Okay, very cool. How old are you?
54.
54, all right. And how much of this did you inherit?
I received an inheritance about 6 months ago for $55,000 from my aunt.
And you were already millionaires?
Yes.
So you're not millionaires because of an inheritance, is that correct?
No.
Okay.
My husband and I both put ourselves through college.
We actually started on your plan about 15 years ago, and it helped us just lay out the steps that we needed to take, and we just followed them. And it's amazing, absolutely amazing what it's done. I'm blown away.
So what's the range of your income since you guys started working? Best household income and worst household income?
Best 310. Worst, probably about 170.
Wow. What do you guys do for a living?
So my husband was a stay-at-home dad for a long time. He now works for, he's a project manager, and I'm a sales manager.
Okay. For who? Or for what kind of an industry?
Yeah, for medical device industry.
Ah, okay. Very lucrative. Good for you. You've been killing it. Well done.
Yeah,
so great incomes, but also made that great income go to work.
Yeah, I mean, it really, the plan that you laid out for us, we're great at following a structure and a plan, and it's been so, just it's given us peace. So we have paid for we have 3 children, grown, 2 kids done with college, all paid for. Our daughter, it made it possible for her to go to Notre Dame and for us to pay for it all. We've gone on European vacations every summer for, 10 years. I met my father for the first time 11 years ago.
Wow.
And he's European, and it made it possible for my kids and our family to get to know our European family and spend, a couple weeks every summer with them because we had the money to do it.
Wow.
We drive paid for cars that.
What's your degree in?
Engineering.
Okay. And what was your GPA?
3.4.
Cool. Okay. Last thing, in 20 or 30 seconds, can this still be done, and what should somebody do if they want to do it?
Yeah, it can be done. I mean, really on any income. It's amazing listening to the callers in your show. That's inspired me the most. The people that they make $40,000, $50,000 a year and they pay off this debt and they win. And so just follow the plan. Buckle down for the brief amount of time that you have to be gazelle intense. And then just, then you get to live.
Live like no one else, so later you can live and give like no one else.
It's not a theory. You can do this.
Wow. It's a Baby Steps Millionaires Theme Hour, all about talking to real millionaires, regardless of how they got there. We want to hear your story at 888-825-5225. Our scripture today, Colossians 3:17, and whatever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. William Arthur Ward said, gratitude can transform common days into thanksgiving, turn routine jobs into joy, and change ordinary opportunities into blessings. It's a Baby Steps Millionaires Theme Hour, meaning we are talking to millionaires regardless of how they became a millionaire. We want to know what really happened. Where'd your wealth really come from? There's a lot of mythology out there that people think that you have to be famous, an entertainer, a rock star, an athlete to become a millionaire. Less than 1% of millionaires are those people. Statistically, that's the actual data. Millionaires to become wealthy, you have to be a crook. I've been doing this theme hour for years, and I've never talked to anyone that became a millionaire by being a crook. And so that's just jealousy and immaturity and envy speaking. This idea that wealth comes from thievery is ridiculous in the culture today. Who would continue to do business with a thief? No one. You have to be brilliant. You have to have a 4.2 GPA. I seldom talk to a millionaire that's got a GPA that high. As a matter of fact, most of them are in threes.
Pretty average.
Yeah, most of us are, mine's a 2.97. I'm still pissed about that 3/100ths of a point, but yeah. So
it's not all about intellect, and it's not all about your career.
I seldom run into somebody who's got a 1.6 GPA. So you have to have a certain amount of gray matter, right, to get there. But this idea that unless you're unusually brilliant, you don't have a chance. Unless you you strike it rich with a record deal when you're 18 years old and you're a one-hit wonder, you're not going to get there. These are just mythology. And here's the last one, and the worst one of all, that the average millionaire, the typical person that's wealthy in America, inherited their money. And it's simply not true. Out of the 10,000 millionaires that we interviewed for the Ramsey Millionaire Study, and it really bears out in who we talk to here on the air as well, 79% of those that we interviewed received zero inheritance. 5% received a very small inheritance, like $5,000 from their grandmother, which does not make you a millionaire, okay? And another 5%, like our last caller, received some money after they were already millionaires. The last caller had a $4 million net worth, and last year got $55,000, which was a substantial amount of money, but it was after they were already
It didn't
millionaires.
cause that.
If they'd have gotten $1 million last year, it didn't cause it. They already had a $3 million net worth. And so they didn't become millionaires because of that. So here's the point. The point is you can do it. You can do it. So 5%, small inheritance, 5% after, and 79% nothing. That's 89%. So that's 9 out of 10 millionaires. That's almost all of them did not become millionaires because they inherited their money. So there's some Thanksgiving dinner trivia for those of you when you're home with your left-wing family that thinks that the only way you become wealthy is liberal policies because wealth must be redistributed. Because it's not fair to the little man. 9 out of 10 millionaires are little man. This is the best system ever in the history of mankind, literally, to become a millionaire. Today, in America today, with all of its problems and all of its isms and all of its systemic problems that are really there, there's so much stinking opportunity out there. If you will just pay attention, we can get you there.
Yeah, and I love hearing the stories of the debt-free screams on the stage. They say, Dave, we paid off our house. And they whisper to you when you meet them, and they say, oh, and we're everyday millionaires. We're baby step millionaires too, Dave. It's amazing.
And they always do whisper it. They don't cheer that one. It's like
it feels like a humble brag.
It is a humble brag, but because it's weird. Because it's we have a culture that tells you to go be successful and then curses you when you are.
And then don't talk about it. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah,
because you'll be judged.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Well, this hour, we're encouraging humble brags.
Yes, we are.
We want to let people know it's possible.
Yes, we are. Because I want people to have hope that they can do it too. That's the thing. Can you do it too? Yes, you can. Bill is with us in Dayton, Ohio. Bill, what is your net worth?
Hey, Dave, I'm at 1.46 million.
Cool. Give me a little breakdown on that by category.
I've got about, I guess, 900,000 in between my IRAs and TSP. I've got a home worth about 290,000. Cash about 250,000, and then a couple cars.
Okay, very cool. How old are you?
55.
Good. And how much of this did you inherit?
Exactly zero.
Okay, exactly.
Not a penny more, not a penny less.
All right. And what's been your best year working income, worst year working income?
So
household.
I guess when I first got in the military, I was making about 17,000 a year. Mm-hmm. Got the 2,000 to 3,000 increases every year with promotion or whatever, and now I'm up about 198,000, so it averages out to about 80,000 a year.
Gotcha. Cool. Thank you for your service. Very cool. Which branch are you in?
Air Force. I was in the Air Force active duty, and then I retired. Now I'm a civilian working for the Air Force.
Ah, okay, cool. What's your degree in? Do you have a 4-year degree?
I do. I was an industrial distribution major in aerospace sciences for my master's.
Cool. And your GPA?
It was probably a 3.2 for undergrad and probably a 3.8 for graduate.
Yeah, that's about normal. Okay, good for you. So you did all of this as a military guy. Your wife work outside the home?
That was one of those things, you have to be with somebody who matches your saving patterns, and I was not married to someone who did that, so I started making more money after we split.
Okay. All right. So the pictures we got of you are with your kids. I was trying to look down in the YouTube picture. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Good for you.
Yeah, those are my kids. So, as a matter of fact, my son just graduated with his master's last year, and he's now a financial planner working for a no-fee company in the D.C. area.
Very cool. Very cool. So, Bill, again, I had a military on guy a little bit earlier. Do you think you could talk to the young service guys and tell them it can be done?
Oh, definitely. So the first thing you have to do is just, pay yourself first, put that money away in IRA or some savings vehicle and just pretend it's not even there.
Yeah.
And then pay yourself with every pay raise and then live, below your means.
Yeah.
It's
sounds like you've avoided debt like the plague.
Oh, well, I did the thing for quite a few years where you're moving credit card balances around, and, it was just ridiculous. And when I finally found your program, about 15 years ago, it woke me up, and I've lived by it ever since, and it's brought me where I am now.
Very cool. Proud of you, Bill. Thank you again for your service, and thanks for calling in, dude. You're a financial hero. You did it. You became a millionaire.
It sounds like he put these investments on autopilot. No pun intended. 900,000.
Nice catch, George.
He's just an impressive guy.
So we got a 51-year-old, 37, 39, 54, 55. So none of them are 80. None of them are 27. Right? And GPAs were 3.0, 3.8, 3.4, 3.2. The net worths were $3 million, 1.1, 1.1, 4 million, and 1.46. These are the ones we took on today. And so you see the patterns evolve, and the patterns they're repeatable. We see them all the time. We don't set these calls up, folks. We don't tell them what they have to say. We want to find out what's really going on. But you really can't break statistical averages. They show up.
Yeah, and there's a lot of themes here. They lived on less than they made. They invested consistently over time. They got out of debt. They paid off their house, and all of a sudden you look at the numbers in the mix and you go, oh my gosh, I'm a millionaire. I did it.
Well, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We hope this inspires you to go be a Baby Steps millionaire. That's your next goal. We want you to do it. George, happy Thanksgiving.
You as well, Dave.
James and Kelly and Austin in the booth. Thanks, guys. Well done. Bobby, all of you, happy Thanksgiving. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free scream live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.